streetscape. I'm going to show a little bit about how they treat bikes. So again, thinking about how do we treat the people, not the cars, but the people. Any other questions on building before I go on to that? Nope. Great. So there's a lot of bike-friendly stuff in again, Vancouver was a good example. It was a recent trip we did. But you'll see that it's very well marked. You'll see colors. What I really thought was really, really cool is they actually have a separated bike area, and it's bi-directional. So it's not just if you're going north, you're on one side, if you're going south, you're on the other side. If you're going north-south, you're in this protected area, and you're both sharing the space. So you have two smaller lanes protected by curbs, hard curbs, and then there's transition. So I have a couple examples. I mean, it's pretty cool. You basically take your bike traffic off of the kind of open area, and you kind of sequester it to one side, protect it, and then the cars are kind of free to do what they want on the main street. So it's really interesting. Here's another example over here, completely protected bike lane. This is again bi-directional. This is going one way, this is going the other way, and you have some greenery that again completely shielded. There's no way a car is going to fall asleep at the wheel and shift over and slam into somebody because you have a physical barrier there, and it's pleasant looking, and it creates a better experience for the pedestrian that's walking on the street because the cars aren't blasted by it. Again, just some other examples on how they transition from intersections. This is an intersection, so it breaks and then it picks back right up again, and then you'll see over there it's like a green area, so it highlights where the bikes will be coming. Again, this just shows some of the heights of the curbs to show that it's not just like a little bump, it's like a physical 6-inch curb. And this is how it goes across. This one went across from the street over to where, this is Canada Place, and this is where they had the Olympics. So they have a big plaza out here, a lot of pedestrian stuff going on over there, a lot of shops on either side. But this allows the bikes to go right through, and I don't know if I have a picture of it, but it goes up through here, and it goes down, and then down around the pier. So it continues, it doesn't just end right there at the sidewalk. There's actually, it's integrated with the pedestrians. It felt a little dangerous when they did that, but it was an effective way to transition. Yes, sir?
I didn't see any parked cars.
There aren't any parked cars here. There are actually over on that way a little bit, but on those streets there weren't any cars. There weren't any, at least on those intersections, on the corners, there weren't any parked cars right there. There might be some later on, but like over here, I think there might be. I think there's buses go along those lanes. I'm not sure if there are cars parked next to them or not.
I just got back from Iceland, and I sent Kirk some pictures, and they did the same thing, and they got that barrier so that you keep for the bikes, but they have the cars parked on the other side of the barrier.
So the cars can park on the curb side, street side of the bike lane, but they're nowhere near impacting the bike traffic. You're not going to open a door and whack a biker as they come by or anything like that. Again, this is just an example of people are crossing and they see that, so it allows for. Yeah, we had a little July. But even at night, it's well lit. You can cross the intersection. Again, it's the same thing. Oh, here's what I talked about where it comes off the street. I did take a picture of that. This is where it goes down to the pier. So you can see the bike circles over here. So this is actually completely at grade. There's a little bump here, but it's not a hard curb, so you don't like hit something and trip over it. But it does rise up a little bit, so you can stub your foot if you're not paying attention. But this is again bi-directional. Bikes go down this way and go down, and it's a different color, so there's a physical transition, and there's a physical color difference. So it does allow for some segmentation, but it's much softer than where the cars are. This is people and bikes collaborating. Again, just another example from a different angle. This is one which was not very effective, I don't think. This is a bike lane right here in the middle. It's striped. I mean, you could barely see there's any bike reference on it at all. But they were. I guess the message they put bike accommodations all over the place, not just in one part of town. They really embraced it all over the city. And lastly, I wanted to show this. This looks like a Vespa or a scooter. This is all electric. And when you think of electric bikes, I always thought about you have the two-wheeler, you're biking along, it's got a little thing to help you. But There's no pedals, there's no nothing. You just get up and go, completely electric, can go in the bike lanes, and I think the license requirement is, it doesn't even apply. I don't think you can go on the main street. Yeah.
There's some new rules in California around electric bicycles, so that there's two classifications, the traditional up to 20 miles per hour with the motor or motor plus pedaling. They also have a 28 mile per hour version that you can use.
These, I asked this guy, I think this one is called Joran Electric. I think that goes up to like 35 or 40 miles an hour. So this is a pretty, you can't take it on the highway or anything like that, but it'll get up and go, and it'll take you around town. It's not going to conk out after like 5 miles or anything like that. This is a real transporter, and it's comfortable. It's not like it's like a real seat. It's not like a little, little bike seat. Not that bike seats are bad. But it can accommodate more people. Okay. Any questions on bikes?
Well, Santa Cruz makes an electric motorcycle, a C-bike or zero bike?
Zero.
Yeah.
And these kind of scooters have been around for 15 years.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have. I wasn't trying to say this is a new invention. I'm just.
You just discovered
Yeah,
it.
sorry.
So, a question for both you and Daphne in looking at these things. Do you see any evidence of this in areas other than conventional urban downtowns? How does it extend out of a protected bike lanes, etc., out of a downtown kind of environment? Because you're thinking, if you're in a city, you're commuting.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to go far to work, 3 miles, 2 miles, 5 miles, right? And so it's this connection between areas, or how it connects to transit and these other things.
Well, we have-
saw evidence outside of the core downtown protected.
I haven't seen the raised curves. I've seen the bike lanes continuing outside of the towns, but the protection, it's got to be for the really high traffic areas. Although I have to say that I did do some of the scooter riding in Thailand.
How'd that go?
And yeah, well, that part of it. But it is a little disconcerting when you're on some of the busier roads and they're whizzing by. So that was part of the problem that we were having.
What's coming to mind is a kind of trail network. So if you've been on Parody Creek Trail, Guadalupe Trail running kind of parallel to First Street, you can travel a long way. You could commute from downtown or somewhere else on a trail and get out of traffic because you've got a good paved
Right.
kind of place, recreational or community kind of thing, right? And so I'm thinking about that match. What do we do here? If you think about Stevens Creek, do you take a strip on the backside of all the lots running between Lawrence and Winchester and create literally a bike and walking trail that's not even on the, honestly, it becomes a separator between single-family homes and the development that happens in that first lot, right? Just move these things just to the place
Where they go, yeah.
to make longer connectors.
Valid, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good idea. Yeah.
I am all for taking parked cars off of Winchester and Stevens Creek. I mean, I think they just add nothing but issues for buses, for bicyclists. But I don't know how you'd feel if we put a curved bike lane in front of New York Pizza and no parking.
Slice New York.
Oh, excuse me.
New York Pizza is another company.
But it's kind of like, how would you feel?
Yeah, so-
You can curve off,
Yeah.
and I like that curve thing, and protect the bikes, and let this go to Apple, back down to San Jose along Stevens Creek, and take off the parking on one side.
Yeah.
I think it would really make the street look nicer, but how about you?
So as a small business owner, parking, we're in a very, people come to us via cars. And if they can't, like I think about what happens over by Fireside over here, or Round Table, or the Scuttlebug, like that general area, they don't have parking easily to get to other than on the street. And I think it'd be a challenge. I think it'd be hard. I think it's a further discussion.
Allow, I guess, for a pull-in to a parking lot, right?
Yeah.
It's just a curb, it's a solid curb to protect the bicyclist, so that would be a challenge to...
Yeah, how you handle all these little points out that come, because we have a lot of driveways on these streets, and that's very hard when you're trying to create a linear or something like a protected bike lane, because last thing you want to do is have someone nosing out to look around and wham, someone's. So, okay, any other questions? So the answer is, I would feel it'd probably be difficult, a conversation for me, but I think I'd still participate in it. I'd want to investigate how we can solve something like that. Maybe put it on the other side of the street.